Gentlemen, today we will land on Kunsan Airbase runway 36 ILS procedure following a redox chart for this. Our position is now southeast of Kunsan, and after we check that we are safe and high above minimum safe altitude, we will set our TACAN channel, tower and ILS frequency because later we will be heads down all the way. So once I'm set, I will just cover my truck IR and then use my keys to go heads down and the mouse wheel to zoom in the instruments so they are clear enough. Then we start slowing our speed to 300 knots and descending to 10,000 feet. That's where the Wolf initial approach fix is, on the radial 09 and 0, 20 miles from Kunsan. Now I will roughly set my heading, so I will go directly to Wolf Point without needing to set it as a steer point. This can be done, and the tips to do it will be discussed in a tutorial in the future. "26 miles now from Kunsan, making some corrections to get to Wolf Point. "24 miles out, we contact Kunsan to get the QNH. I hope this part is not getting very boring, but if we're alone, we can always sing. So we are approaching radial 090 and Wolf as close as possible. The pictures will show us more or less our position on the charts. So here we are, established on the radial 090 inbound exactly at 20 miles. Passing 19 miles, descending for Tulsi 80,000 feet, and now we must see when we will turn to intercept the 15-mile arc. So time out. We want to intercept an arc from a radial. It's approximately a 90-degree turn. We divide our speed, 300 knots, to 60, and we subtract 2. That gives us 3. In our case, at 18 miles, we have to start our turn to intercept the arc. Simple, isn't it? Okay, one more time. We want to intercept an arc from a radial. It's approximately a 90-degree turn. We divide our speed, 300 knots, to 60, and we subtract 2. That gives us 3. In our case, at 18 miles, we have to start our turn to intercept the arc. I hope it was clear enough, and the same applies when we want to intercept an arc from a radial outbound, for example on SIDs. Moving again, we are established on radial 090, we have passed 19 miles. At 18 miles we will start our turn to intercept the arc and at the same time continue our descent for 8,000 feet. So we left Tulsi behind, passing 8,000 feet soon and continue descending to 2,800 feet for Julop. Looks like I will be a bit higher on Julop, so I increase my rate of descent. You might notice that sometimes I put the bearing pointer a bit above my 3 o'clock to turn into the Takan. That's because the wind in this case is northwest, so it means that even if I have exactly 3 o'clock the Takan, the wind is slowly pushing me out and I might get to 16 miles, something that I don't want. I'm crossing now the radial 155 on the arc. Soon I will start my turn to intercept the radial for the final. Redog is helping us by providing that radial 165 on the chart, but let's see why it's that radial 165 that we have to start the turn. Freeze again, please. According to the Holy Bible, page 35, paragraph 322. Okay, I'm in Redog's chart tutorial, page 35, paragraph 322. We divide our speed 300 knots to 60, we subtract 2 and we get the 3-mile lead that we need. Now to calculate that lead in radials, we just multiply 60 by the lead we have, 3 miles, and we divide to the DME, the arc DME we are. On the road again, we'll cross radial 165 now, start the turn and continue descending, still a bit high. Here you will see the mistake I made. Instead of setting radial 175 I set 180, so I will be a bit right of the radial, but I will be actually where I'm supposed to. So we passed Bajulop at 14 DME now, a bit lower than 2,800 feet. We continue at this altitude for Vipir at 10 DME. DME, still a bit lower than the 2,800 feet. If I had set my radial correctly at a 175, from what you can see, the tail of the bearing pointer is exactly on 175, so that's where I would be also. At Vipir 10 DME, still lower than 2,800 feet, I will maintain this altitude until I get to the glide slope. At 9 DME, I turn to align on final and I switch to ILS. Eight miles, I continue on 2000 until they meet the glass slope. If we were heads up, we could use the command steering to align better on the ILS, but I will use the ADI for now. Our air brakes are out. At 7 DME, I lower my gear and I start descending following the ILS cues. Still a bit right of the center line. 6 DME at Rocky, on the glide slope, correcting a bit to the left to get on the center line also. 5 DME, approaching center line, but a bit lower from a glide slope. For DME, a bit to the right and lower. Passing 3 DME, I'm on a center line and glide slope, so I will just go heads up, uncover Matroika IR and zoom out. We are well above minima, 210 feet and 2 miles visibility, runway is visual and we will safely land.